Coming up on NCC News, we find out why 1,000 college students walked out on class on Wednesday, why Americans are driving more than ever, and we take a look at the campaigns for the next election. These stories and more coming up after the break. Hello, I'm Leslie Bouchard.
And I'm Jody Smith.
In our top story, students of Ithaca College take a step against racism. Nearly 1,000 Ithaca College students walked out of class Wednesday. They're calling for the resignation of school president Tom Racone after University of Missouri's president and chancellor stepped down earlier this week. In both instances, students say there is a low response to racist incidences on campus. In Ithaca, a group called People of Color created a Facebook event for the walkout. The group posted with University of Missouri's president stepping down. We demand Racone to do the same, as it is vital to fight against racism in all places of education.
The world takes a look at a superpower standoff. Amid open and bitter disagreement over the war in Syria, President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered dueling speeches at the United Nations. Mary Maloney explores if the meeting of the minds will make a difference.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin. Earlier in the day, the president slammed Putin's apparent strategy for defeating ISIS.
Leslie, let's pick it up, camera one.
Pyongyang.
The United States supports Syrian rebels, but Putin says the only way to beat ISIS is to back Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and share intelligence with Iraq, Iran, and Syria.
В Сирии с исламским государством и другими террористическими организациями реально никто не борется. Мы знаем все проблемы региона, все противоречия.
Despite differences, Obama says he's open to working with Russia and Iran. Which is why these two leaders are talking face to face in their first meeting since this encounter more than 2 years ago, before Russia invaded Ukraine and became isolated from the West, something Obama wants the United Nations to remember. I'm Mary Maloney, reporting.
CNN's Will Ripley takes us inside one of the most secretive nations in the world, North Korea. Pyongyang showed off its military might over the weekend, staging a massive military parade. Will Ripley is one of the foreign journalists invited inside the country for the event, and he reports that even the parade's start time was well kept under wraps.
All of these crews are working, each of them accompanied by a government representative, a minder, who will be with them as they report throughout the entire trip. We just found out the parade will be getting started shortly, so we are now in a security line at the hotel along with all of the other media. No laptops, no cell phones, only our equipment allowed in. By the time we got into Kim Il-sung Square, the weather was perfect. Blue skies, sun was shining. In the evening, when it was time for the torchlight parade, the weather was not so cooperative. It started raining really heavily. It was freezing, it was cold, and all of these young people were lined up in the streets without rain jackets. But they didn't go back inside, they stayed in the streets, and instead some of them started singing. The celebration weekend is ending with what I would call a marathon music history lesson. I say marathon because this show has been going for about 2 hours now, and we haven't even hit intermission yet.
It's a tale of two presidential contenders and different crowds that are backing them up. As Jeff Zeleny reports, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton draw very different supporters to their campaign events. Let's take a look.
When you walk into a Bernie Sanders event, you have to wait in line following thousands and thousands of people. It really does feel like a sporting event. So much different than a Clinton campaign event. And by design, these are sort of intended to be different. Rock concert versus more of a class lecture. I remember being at a rally with Bernie Sanders this summer in Phoenix. So many people were filling this big hall. Donald Trump had been there just a week before, also filling it. But such a different feeling at Clinton events, like a recent one in Mount Vernon, Iowa. Even though it was on a college campus, the crowd was much older than a Sanders event. There was, music blaring from the speakers, but people were just not as excited, not as fired up. The people at a Bernie Sanders event really span the ages. There is a lot of younger people there, no question. And it's interesting, Bernie Sanders is the oldest candidate in this race, 74 years old, but draws a lot of young supporters, but also some other liberals from across the spectrum, so it's certainly a wide age range. A lot of aging hippies, I guess, if you will.
I want every child.
At a Clinton campaign event, it is more a Democratic establishment crowd, a lot of elected officials, a lot of people sort of were invited there, not as much of an organic type of a feeling. The question is, though, do crowd sizes really matter? That is an open question until we actually see the voting here. A lot of Hillary Clinton supporters may not be coming to her rallies, but they could still vote for her on Election Day.
Maybe it's the lower gas prices or the new model cars, but statistics say that Americans are driving more than ever before, and that's good for the economy. The Federal Highway Administration says total miles driven have increased from 2.9 trillion to 3.1 trillion since April 2014. The figure surpassed its pre-recession high last December. Different parts of the economy are seeing a boost from all this driving. We're spending more on cars than ever before. Car sales hit $94 billion last month, an all-time high. It's also giving a boost to hotel sales. They're up 5% so far this year compared to the same period last year, according to the Census Bureau. And restaurant sales are up double digits.
The city of Norwalk is preparing for its first mall. The proposed area will take over in the spot in South Norwalk's I-95 underpass and North Water Street. Many are worried about space and how much it will cost to actually maintain the facility. City officials are reassuring that the overall outcome of the shopping plaza will be beneficial to not only the citizens, but to the income of the city. Cordove Crofi has the story.
After a strong show of support from the Common Council Tuesday evening, General Growth Properties is one step closer to construction of a mall on the Reed-Putnam Urban Development Area, or 95-7.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Carries.
The council unanimously approved the recommended land uses and development volumes, which dictates just how much space can be developed.
The city is willing to have the large-scale retail and the mixed use that we want to have here at this site. So we're very excited, and it's the beginning of a process, but a good, strong beginning.
Before the vote, council members expressed their views on the proposed development.
There was a lot of controversy over the last year and a half about, well, a mall, do we want a mall? Is that the best use for the project? And we studied it, and we've come to a hard decision, which we think will work. We think it's really good for the city. It's just a start.
I'm one of those small businessmen that everybody thinks they could get affected by a mall coming to Norwalk. And I have to tell you, I'm in support of this. I really do believe that this mall if we do it right, could be the anchor to actually revitalize our Wall Street area. It could also be the catalyst to help out South Norwalk.
In addition to approving the new land disposition agreement, the council unanimously voted to retain the law firm of Halloran and Sage to provide legal counsel to the city throughout the administrative approval process for the proposed mall.
This is a major project. If you vote to proceed tonight, which I hope you will, there are going to be extensive documents to be drafted. And rather than burdening the law department, I think you should do what you did in the case of Waypoint, which is allow the developer to fund your hiring private counsel.
What we will do is start the design process now in earnest, and they'll run concurrently. I think the design process will move past as we get into the site plan approval process, but we'll move them both forward to try to keep the pace up and keep the progress going so we can get in the ground first thing next year.
An announcement regarding a second anchor store to join Nordstrom's is expected in the next coming months. Reporting from the It's Relevant studio, I'm Kwajerba Crawfee.
Crunch Fitness in Norwalk held its first annual Member Appreciation Day, sponsored by local Norwalk shops and delis. It had opportunity for members and staff to come together as a community.
Sure, so pretty much Member Appreciation Day
When we come back.
it is an annual event that we hold once a year in September. And we do it so that we can pretty much appreciate our members and just show them that we really care here at Crunch. So we definitely expected a huge outcome, and we did get a huge outcome. So it was really nice. We had vendors coming from all over the place, vendors that were our members, which was great. So we had members coming here and promoting the business that they had. So it was really fun getting to know everybody else and the other side that they have to offer. So we chose those locations specifically, not only because we had members that were involved with those companies, but we also had marketing deals with those companies as well. So we were trying to promote their business so that they might be able to promote our business in return.
When we come back, we will inform you about the latest campus news.
And why we'll learn about how NCC's TV Club is rising to the occasion.
Stay tuned.
What college are you going to?
I don't know.
What do you want to be?
I don't know. My parents want me to be an architect.
Architect?
Yeah, but it's my future. I want to do something that turns me on.
What turns you on?
I don't know.
We know NCC has a Student Success Center where counselors assist every student in creating a future.
You'd make a cute pirate.
I don't know.
We know. Be who you want to be. Create your future at NCC.
With the spring semester right around the corner, don't forget to sign up for your classes.
Winter break is so close we can taste it. Students on campus are beginning their final exams and presentations, but many are forgetting to meet with their advisors and sign up for classes with teachers expressing the importance of reserving your spots. NCC makes it easy to sign up for class with accessible kiosks in the atriums on both the East and West campus, making the process of signing up for classes very easy. Once winter break begins, it will be harder to reserve a spot in those classes. With enough students, those classes will be dropped. So do not forget to sign up for the spring semester.
The college held its annual Performing Arts Festival last week with a brand new lineup. It consisted of several short plays, musical numbers, and skits. Many of the short plays challenge and mirror modern-day problems and social situations. The theater group performed a musical number from the hit Broadway show Wicked, with the full song and dance choreographed with it. The a cappella group performed a musical rendition of Runaround Sue in a quintet-styled performance. And the music theory class performed a special drum act which focused on the class's main learning lesson of drum technique and style. The Performing Arts Festival then concluded with a live band performance by the class's jazz band. They played renditions of classical hits and modern hits which appealed to all ages of viewers in the audience.
The college held a very special lecture to add to a very exciting week of events. Journalists from the area who are involved with the Boston Globe mission to reveal crimes within the Catholic Church were held to a panel, a discussion about the new movie Spotlight, which just came out. That was a biography on the incident and the journalists involved. Let's take a look at the trailer.
But you gotta help me. The Boston priests abused kids in 6 different parishes over the last 30 years. The church found out about it and did nothing.
This is bigger than Boston. It's the whole system.
Spotlight team, show me that it came from the top down.
The critical acclaim is unanimous. Spotlight is a landmark film.
Founder of SNAP was abused. She's from Chicago, abused for many, many years by a priest in her parish. And when she became an adult, she came back to the church and said, you know, this happened to me. And she was told that no one had ever made a complaint against this priest, and that he would be removed and kept away from children, so nothing like this would ever happen again. Those were both lies.
When the professor of the film and TV course left on sabbatical, the students of the TV club were left in disarray. Without an advisor and a way to go, they came together and are working their way up the ladder to success. The TV and film courses have a TV club that is meant to help the students of the TV classes showcase their work. They find ways to fundraise for their annual video awards, which allow the students to come together and present their yearly projects for recognition. The members of the TV club meet once a month and are working very hard to create a strong presence within their student activity community. The TV and Film Club is actually something that the TV and film students put together. And what we do, it's not only for the TV and film students, but what we do is we try to collaborate with different groups on campus. So right now we're working with The Voice to put together a live broadcast. So we really want to get out there. We want to do things that are geared towards TV and film, but not just to TV and film students. We want to make it more embracing for everybody. The AVAs recognize the projects from all of the TV courses, TV1's Orange Project, the New England Fall Foliage, and the New Directors, Student Studies Shorts, TV2's Music Videos, Person to Person, and How Do I, TV3's Newscast, and TV4's Short Film. The students get a chance to be nominated for the selections and come to an Oscar-style event where awards are handed out to reward the students' hard work. The AVAs are scheduled for May 4th at 7 p.m. at the Forum.
After the break, we sit down with our director and learn more about an inspiring musician turned teacher in our area.
We'll see you after these messages. After taking 2 years off television courses, our director is ready to show you what the classes mean to her and show you how much work is actually put into what it takes to be a film student.
My name is Isabel Surapine, and I'm a
third-year Norwalk Community College student. I'm majoring in television and film, and I'm taking the Television 3 course. Next semester I'll be finishing with my associate's degree with TV4 and then all the rest of the classes that I need to finish. I think when we were working with Professor Stoney, he had us do several projects. I think my favorites were the Orange Project, which was a short film which had only 2 rules. The short film had to begin with someone finding an orange, and the end of the film had to end in that person losing the orange. And then so the trial continues and the next student does the one where she finds it, and it just continues. Another one were our music videos, which was also really fun. We got to choose a song, have someone in our class or outside class come into the studio to sing it, lip sing it, and then we would sync the words and then there's the TriCaster in the studio, and we would just fade in their faces so it looked really professional, which was so hard. I remember going in the week of filming and not knowing how to use it at all and just looking at it like, how am I going to do this? And it just took a lot of practice, and you just had to do it. I think what I appreciated most about the class is that it doesn't take its time with you, it forces you to learn. In the future, I hope to move on to a 4-year school. I don't know where yet. Still not trying to go too far, but everyone keeps telling me I need to go far, but I don't know yet. I hopefully would like to graduate with a bachelor's in television and film communications, and I know that there's just so much more to learn. I don't think I'm very good. I think there's a lot more to learn, and I just can't wait to go out there and meet teachers and new professors and get more projects that really challenge my abilities and challenge what I've learned and leave everything that I knew behind, because what you learn in the beginning is just the beginning, and I think that my skills definitely need to continue growing, and I'll be able to grow as a student and a person and a filmmaker.
Now we get to meet a man in our area who has spent many years working in the fine arts and is now teaching to spread his knowledge and wisdom to those who are interested in the performing arts and music industry.
Hi, I'm Matthew Surapine. I was born and brought up originally in Enfield, Connecticut. Currently live with my wife and children here in Norwalk, and I'm a professional singer. Currently, I maintain a voice studio right here in Norwalk. I teach out of my house. I take a lot of pride in what I do with my students, because I feel that by using what I have gained in the last 25, 30 years of my singing and performing career, I'm able to pass on firsthand to the future singers, performers, entertainers. I use the lessons and techniques that I learned from my teachers, who had learned it from their teachers. So there's a line of pedagogy that goes back hundreds of years, and I feel an immense amount of responsibility in handing that over to the new generation of singers. We build a foundation with the Italian School of Singing, learning how to breathe, learning the placement, learning the vowels. Then from there we branch off and we explore musical theater, we explore the American songbook, we explore jazz, American jazz, listening to a lot of great singers and listening what they did. You can only learn what you're going to do by learning from the people who came before you. When I was in high school, I was a classical clarinetist. I was studying in New York, going down to New York, studying 2 or 3 days a week. But then when you're in high school, you realize that all of a sudden you think you know everything. So I quit music completely because I wanted to follow the vast money on Wall Street and became a stockbroker. Did that for many years, but there was something missing. And I started participating in auditioning in community theater and doing community theater shows. My first audition was for New York City Opera. It was for Barber Seville, the touring company, and I got into it, and I toured with them for 3 months. And then when I came home and was going to go back to my temp job at Chase, I was working at Chase at the time, no, Payne Weber. I was working at Payne Weber on Park Avenue at the time. New York City Opera called me and asked me if I would like to audition for The House at Lincoln Center, so I auditioned for them. Spent 2.5 years in New York City Opera Chorus. I then left the City Opera Chorus and started auditioning for principal roles at regional opera houses. Was lucky enough to perform with some of the great opera houses, Lyric Opera of Kansas, St. Louis, Central City, Opera Theater of Michigan. Then auditioned and got accepted into, did many, many roles at City Opera. It gives me a great deal of joy and a great deal of personal satisfaction seeing something that I worked so hard to do being handed over and then being implemented in a new student. So when I sit and watch a student perform, I feel there's a great deal of accomplishment in that. Sometimes more accomplishment than you would get from performing on stage yourself. The best thing that I can leave my students with is a sense of a work ethic, discipline. So many people think that talent alone will get you in the door. Sometimes it will get you in the door, but discipline and working hard at that talent is what will keep you in the door. So the best people who have succeeded in the arts are the ones who get up every day and work their art. That old saying, that Janet Jackson song, "What have you done for me lately?" can almost be translated into music. That was great, but you have to do it again today. And again today, you have to keep working at your craft. You become a slave to it, constantly peeling the onion, making yourself a better person, making yourself a better artist. And that's a good impact in life, because that can be moved into anything. A work ethic, discipline, and enjoying what you're doing.
Gets political. We take a look into Nicki Minaj's future releases, and an iconic character heads back to the future. Mary Maloney has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Lena Dunham, the star and creator of HBO's Girls, landed a major interview for the first edition of her online newsletter. Hoping to reach out to millennial voters, presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton sat down with the so-called voice of a generation to discuss the important issues. Nicki Minaj could add television producer to her resume. ABC Family greenlit a half-hour comedy based on the rapper's early life. No word on a premiere date. Doc Brown is headed back to the future again. Christopher Lloyd will appear as the iconic character in a new short film for the Back to the Future 30th anniversary Blu-ray. It will be released October 21st, 2015, the same date the good doctor Marty McFly traveled to in Back to the Future Part 2. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
NASA has made a stunning announcement about Mars. Scientists say they found evidence of flowing water. It's a discovery that takes us one step closer to discovering if there's life on the red planet. CNN's Charisse Pham has more.
Mars mystery solved? That was the headline NASA teased us with for hours today. No, the space agency didn't find aliens. Or Matt Damon's latest movie character. Today, NASA revealed that water flows on the surface of Mars in the spring and summer. Researchers had suspected for years that there was water on Mars. An imaging tool aboard this Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter observed the planet's surface in different colors to see how light was absorbed by different minerals on the surface. Experts say analysis of the surface proved that these dark streaks on Mars are caused by water flowing downhill, just like on Earth.
Now, this isn't the kind of water we Earthlings are used to. The water that makes these dark streaks on Mars' surface is extremely salty. Without the salt, the water would freeze in the planet's bone-chilling temperatures.
No life on Earth could survive in this water. But for all the Martian fans out there, don't lose hope. NASA says this discovery is a giant leap toward the next great discovery. And that answer will finally solve one of the great mysteries of the cosmos. Are we alone? Charisse Pham, CNN, London.
Please join us next time from our NCC News. I'm Leslie Bouchard.
And I'm Jody Smith. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Next on NCC News, the worst place to give birth. The U.S. handles the refugee settlement and how Paris is handling its recent attacks. All this and more on NCC News.
I like this format.
Thanks.
That was like perfect timing.
That sucks. Because I just saw about it. I'll have to wait all the way till 3:30 to use it. Oh wait, but they're doing, I can get lucky.
How did you know he was going to say his name like that?
Who? What did you say?
You
I said he was gonna have a hard time, like, if it was fast, he would jumble the words.